Alright guys, so I'm back. So I think I've got everything in view here. I'm just going to move my coffee out of the way and I'll put it up here where, if you guys can see that or not, don't mind. Kind of looks like clutter, but I was staying here in our kitchen that we turned on, put all the kids' cups and stuff like that on so that you know, the kids can easily turn and get that stuff. But anyway, not part of the video. So what I'll do is I'm going to go through each piece as we have on the layers on the wall, and I'll bring it up closer so everybody can see. So obviously the first base layer, I don't need to get into that anymore, that's our undergarments. We'll put it that way. So the next layer, base layer 2, as I call it, would be, and I'll come up closer so that everybody can see. Like I say guys, sorry, I'm just kind of playing around with where everything is. So the first thing I'm going to definitely turn around and have on is my polyester socks, which would be that base layer 2. So, you know, after our undergarments. So my polyester socks, and obviously, as I said in the first part, in the first video, the polyester wicking layer, our actual undergarment. I kind of showed that in the first one, like I said. If not, go back, watch the first video, you'll see what I'm talking about, so I won't spend so much time. But it's that stretchy polyester layer that, you know, if it gets wet or whatever the case may be, it turns around and it'll dry fast if we need it, you know, to strip down and dry off. And obviously the shirt as well. Long sleeve to help protect the arms. So that's that. Now, my next layer, which we get into the insulating layer, to say, kind of work the two of these together. I do for our area. Once again, the nice polyester, kind of a mix of a wool as well, sock. Now, with these socks I turn on and get, I like because of the fact that, once again, my favorite store, Costco, really cheap. You get about 4 pair of them for, they're a little bit more expensive, but as I say, we're also on a budget, so we're budget bushcrafting. It's like 12 bucks for 4 pair, but the thing that I like about them is that they actually turn and have, I don't know if you can see that well, but as I put in the first video, I believe it was, the underneath of the foot, that it's like a ventilation that's sewn into it where the material is not as thick. So, you know, it just turns on and helps the foot breathe. And so that would be my first insulating layer on my feet. Or the outside insulating layer, I should say. Next, my favorite, my cotton mixed polyester t-shirt that I wear. And yeah, Pirate Republic of St. John. Everybody knows, most of you turn on and know, yes, I live in St. John, New Brunswick. But yeah, so that's kind of the t-shirt that I wear. Next thing, over top of my wicking layer pants, I wear my polyester sports pants that I have. And they're hecker, that made a whole lot of sense. They're actually quite thick. But the reason I wear them and choose to wear them is because of the fact that it has the zipper on the leg, which is nice. So, you know, if I need it to strip down to this layer, I can actually help cool down by actually turning on and zipping the legs and stuff like that. And because of the fact, once again, the polyester, they dry really, really, really quick. And usually what I would do is that with my insulating socks, I would actually turn around and tuck the bottom of my leg inside the socks when I have them on. And like I said, if I had some snow and we could get out and dress, but I may end up having to do it with no snow, I'll definitely turn around and do a video when we do the you know, the shelter and aspect and my sleep system in the cold weather. I'll have the gear on and show you layer by layer as I have it on. Now, with that layer, and this is why I say combining the two, the insulating layer 1 and insulating layer 2, on top of the t-shirt, my favorite sweater that I have on all the time when I do my videos. I have that over top of my t-shirt, and that turns around and gives me that that insulating protective layer. Now, once again, combining the two, if I had the polyester and kind of getting into that insulating layer too, and a protective layer, this is where I kind of combine them again. So this is why I say I get down to that two layer. If I was in around the camp and working, and I'll use that scenario again, and Cole Craven could turn on and back me up on that if you guys want to ask. When we were out the other night, mind you, it wasn't super cold, but it was still, you know, colder. Most of the night, I just had this on with my t-shirt and my wicking layer. So basically 3 layers, and I was totally warm. And it's not heavy, and that's the reason I like the polyester, because it will hold the heat, and it's not a super heavy weight that you have on, so you know, you can still work around the camp, you know, getting the firewood, doing whatever. Now, if it did get super cold, or got colder, I should say, then I could turn around and go to, which I usually carry in my bag, once again, polyester, but the polyester fleece like I'm getting at. So it's kind of got like that, I don't know if you can see this very well in the light, guys, but it's not like the shiny wicking polyester layer. It's got more of that fleece line to it, and I carry that in my bag, and it's just the vest, my Winchester vest. But yeah, so I got that. So then it gets to the next one, protective layer 1, which usually I have on all the time, just because, once again, polyester on the outside, so it's like that, you know, nylon polyester, I guess you could say. It's polyester, but it feels like nylon, if that makes sense. You know, somebody out there may be able to explain the materials better. As I say, I just know when I'm buying it, what I'm looking for, and what it does. But, and these are insulated with that polyester fleece like I was talking about. So this would be my outside protective cover, but I wear these all the time over top of the polyester, my polyester pants, and if I start getting warm, then I can, in essence, turn around and take these off. Now, some of the things I look for the outside, and this is just me again, my personal opinion, for the protective layer on the outside, is I want something that's going to go down over my boot, and I'll explain why I want it to go down over my boot compared to the kind of boots that I wear, compared to boots that you know, somebody else might wear. But they actually have a clip on the leg part that actually attaches to, you know, your lacing on your boot to help turn around and keep that pulled down. Or the other thing is that what I do with them is actually turn around and tuck it into my boot, and then this goes on the outside of the boot. Now with these pants, they have the protective guard on the back of the leg, so that when you're walking or whatever, and you have them down, you know, if you did turn on and step on or whatever, you know, you're not going to destroy your pants or stuff like that. But the cool thing I do like with this style, and once again, Costco specialty, and I got them for 36 bucks when I buy them, is that they have on the inside, there's a nice Velcro strap that actually on the back of the leg has the hook that you can actually turn on and bring that Velcro strap up, put it through the back of the pants, and hook it down, so that you can actually bring up, once again, the back of your pants, so that, you know, the back of your pants aren't dragging on the back of your boots or getting stuck. A lot of the time too, I'll do that, like when Cole Craven and I were out hiking the other day, and we did the video on Would I Drink This. I turned around and had them up like that because I knew I was walking in water, so it just helps too, so that the bottom of the pants don't, you know, not that it matters, because they are waterproof, that, you know, I wasn't getting them all soaked and dragging around and everything else. Now the other thing I look for my protective layer on the outside is lots of pockets. I mean, with these pants I've got, you know, the back pockets, you know, you got your front pockets that zip up, which is nice, and on the one leg, you know, kind of like a, what do you call it, combat pant, or what's the word I'm looking for, khakis, is that it? Ones, you know, dress pants or whatever that would have the pockets on the side. And on the other side, they turn out to have a zipper pocket above that leg pocket with a nice big pouch, and obviously another side pocket as well. And the reason for that is I just like, so that way there I have an extra spot I can turn around and put other things like you know, my scarf, or an extra pair of gloves, or, you know, it could be even my fire kit. Something I need to get to, or that I want to get to, that I'm going to use, that you know, I'm going to want to use it a lot, or whatever the case may be. I've got it right there on my legs, so it's easy to find. So to go with that, like I say, combining the protective layer, kind of your insulating layer, protective layer, and your extreme cold outer layer. So as I say, if I was getting cold and I put on my vest, and now I'm starting to get cold, or really cold, then I go to my trusty jacket. Now, this is the same thing. It's fully polyester on the outside, it's polyester on the inside. The outside is the thick waterproof, I shouldn't say waterproof, but water resistant, so, you know, it'll hold up in the rain. But that soft, shiny kind of polyester, and then a great OD green, as well as it's got the polyester on the inside and it's downfill, and then it's got the nice fluffy polyester on the bottom, which would go around, you know, your midsection. Now this kind of gets to a double thing. I need to get a new one, and I went out as part of Mike Barton from Bushcraft Barton had done the challenge when he put up his video with the wool blankets, where he gets his wool blankets and stuff. So Mike, if you're watching this, it kind of got me going on that fact of being on the challenge, that I needed a new jacket. So like your wool jacket that you got, I turned around and went out and looked at my local thrift store and thought, well, I'll go to the thrift store first. And here in New Brunswick, which I'm sure, I'm not sure if they're in the States or not, for our American friends if you're watching, but Value Village, and went to and actually got the jacket for 24 bucks. And it's like in mint condition. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. You know, and it's got the nice polyester hood, and it's lined as well, so it keeps warm. So I was part of that challenge that you had, Mike, you know, going out and checking in your local thrift shop. Fortunately, I didn't find any wool blankets. I was going to do a video on you, so I'll just throw that in now, that this is where I got this coat from. But like I say, you can find stuff like this all over, but I like it because, once again, it's not heavy, it's not thick, but it's hot. It heats up really quick. So that's why I said, like the other night when Cole and I were out, I wore this from the car to our campground that we went to, and I ended up taking it off because it was just dying. It didn't put it on for the rest of the entire trip, because of the fact that I was warming up with my insulating layers. And that's what I guess that's what I can say, is that that's the way I try to dress, is try to keep it so that, you know, some of the bigger stuff that I don't need it, but I bring it, so that I have it. I guess what I'm getting at, guys, is the more layers the better. Don't ever let anybody turn around and tell, oh, you got too many or whatever. I mean, like I say, in the examples that I have with the 6 different layers, it doesn't have to be 5, 6, you know, it could be 7, 8, you can make it as many as you want, as long as you're comfortable. And that's the thing, if you're comfortable and you're able to move, you know, that's the big thing too. So I always turn around and suggest to people, you know, if you're going to prepare to turn around and go out and do a camp out, if it's your first time, put all this stuff on while you're at home, before you ever go camping, and try it. And you know, maybe just go out in your backyard or in your neighborhood or whatever, and walk around in it. Feel, you know, how does it feel? How does it fit? You know, am I still able to move? You know, and stuff like that. You know, I have the benefits, for an example, here where I live at, that you know, we have a public park, a nature park right in my backyard that we go on. So, you know, I've done that where I've put everything on and gone out and just walked, and yeah, I'll be good this weekend, and you know, that's what I take. But so that's kind of that jacket. Then obviously we get to your outsides, your extremities, as I call them. So you've got your scarf. Now for me, I have, and I carry all the time, as I know some of us do, I carry a trusty bandana. Now, the reason I carry the bandana is multiple reasons, as we all know, and I can send out other videos and stuff like that, but I can use it for water filtration. You know, just to, you know, if I was going to add water that had twigs and leaves and all that stuff floating in it, and I was going to boil it, I can actually strain it through the bandana. You know, if I do start to sweat, I got my sweat rag. As well as if it's cold, or getting cool, but I'm not cold to the point of being that I think I need a scarf, then, you know, I can turn around and obviously put on my bandana, as we all know how to do, and you know, to kind of around my throat or my neck area or whatever, to turn around and, you know, try to heat that up. You know, I can even turn around and, you know, not so cold I don't need my hat, I could look like Granny. Gotta put any humor in there, guys. You know, I can put it on over my head. But on a serious note, then obviously my trusty, once again, my favorite material, polyester wool blend. So it's got a bit of wool to it, but it's mostly polyester, so I can cover up around my neck and cover up my face if need be. Then obviously for the head, and it is a mixture again of wool and polyester. It's my Wind River hat. And guys, again, thrift store, a buck. Keeps the head nice and toasty warm. Now, for my hands, this is where, with gloves, some people will turn around and say different things. Gloves, to me, it comes down to, once again, it's personal preference. It's what you, just bear with me there, guys, I'm just going to move this a bit so I can get myself there. Myself kind of in frame a little better. Gloves, it kind of, for me, it comes down to, once again, it's personal preference on a person. I know some, you know, would turn around and say, if I was in the Arctic, most definitely, I would turn around and say a glove and a mitt. But here where we're at in our climate, I mean, for camping, doing whatever, it's not that, you know, minus 50, minus 60, minus 70, 80 degrees outside, so we don't have to worry about it. That's where I choose to wear gloves all the time. But what I do is that I make sure that my gloves work individually. I know there's a word, I can't think of the word right now, but that they complement one another. So if it's not super cold out, and I'm not worried about my hands aren't getting cold, and I need to put on a pair of gloves because it's just a little cooler, or we're cutting or doing whatever, to protect my hands, I will turn around and put on my, which I love, and still get all the time, my military combat gloves. And it's just because I know the product, it's trusted, I've worn them for years, and I love them. They're to the point of being that they're almost like skin on my hands, so I can fully dexterous and do whatever it is I need to do. Now, if they're not thick enough, and my hands are still getting cold, then I turn around and go to my Terra. Once again, trusty Costco. 3 pair for $17.99. I should be like a sales guy for Costco. I've got my insulated Terra work gloves. which they got like the Thinsulate and the polyester and stuff like that inside, and great gloves. So I put them on. Now, once again, this is where I love, when I talk about, because our hands are usually the most thing that are going to be out in the cold, that I wear gloves that complement, is that if I'm still too cold, then I can turn around and put on my combat glove, and I have my outer gloves are sized to turn around and fit my combat gloves inside them. And now I'm nice and toasty and warm. And you know, I've been minus 30, minus 40 here in our area with these kind of gloves on. Last winter, prime example, and been able to turn around and work, not a problem at all. I can use all my, you know, use the axe, use the dexterity, or I should say have full dexterity in what I'm doing. So that's kind of the gloves. Last but not least, next to the gloves, as I turn around and say, is I think is one of the things that's most important that a lot of people don't spend a whole lot of time looking at, is that, you know, you're using your hands all the time, so you want something good to protect your hands that are going to keep your hands warm, because our extremities are going to be the first thing that are going to get super cold, and then we get into things like frostbite, you know, which will cause major issues. Another topic altogether. So along with that, the other thing is your feet. Everybody's going to turn around and be different, and I know that this is another topic that gets into, my boots are still dirty, I should have washed them, but different people are going to have different things. I know some guys that, you know, prefer, like, once again, I'll use Cole Craven. Him and I were out, he turns on and wears, it's, I call them gum rubbers. That's the way I was always brought up, of like a rain boot, winterized rain boot. You know, they pull on and they come up to below his knee. I don't like boots like that. I find them restricting on my legs. I find I can't move, whatever the case may be. So I have a high ankle boot, so it comes up my ankle. Now, to me in the winter, definitely you're going to want, first thing is you're going to want waterproof, which mine are. They're actually, now obviously because the way the tongue goes, they're fully waterproof up to here. Now, they say, you know, when they're all tied up and everything else, they're still waterproof up here. But I beg to argue that and differ. They're not waterproof. They might be water resistant, because there's still the fact that the water can turn around and leak in and, you know, get inside your boot. Obviously makes sense, right? So in that case, you just change your socks, make sure everything's dry, and get your boots dried out. But with these boots, they turn around and have the same thing. They're the Thinsulate on the inside. I don't think I have to get into much detail about that. You guys can all see that and read that when you're looking out in boots. You're going to want something that's, you know, got a good insulation, that, you know, Thinsulated the whole bit. And, you know, for me, I like the harder. It's the polyester on the outside that's waterproof, but it's kind of got that hardened shell. And they're very, very, very warm. But that's, again, that's something that I would recommend, that if you're going to go out and you're going to do a camp out, like everything else, don't just go out and say, all right, yeah, let's go out camping, you know, Friday night, man, and Thursday you're running out to the store and you're turning on and buying all your stuff. You're packing it up Friday and you're taking off to the bush. Bad idea, in my personal opinion, bad idea. You're going to want to have your stuff way ahead of time, and you're going to want to wear it. You're going to want to go out, you're going to want to try it. So, you know, like the boots, for instance, when I first got my boots the very first time, you know, put them on, wore them around the house. Well, they were clean, so the wife didn't kill me. To feel what they were like. You know, going outside, working around the yard, whatever the case may be. You know, take the kids to the park. You know, going out shopping and stuff like that, had them on. And, you know, and then went for a hike. A small hike for the day. And try them on and know what they feel like. And, you know, do they keep your feet warm and everything else? They kept my feet warm. They did the job. I felt comfortable. And I turned around and went and wear them now all the time when I go out. Even to the point of being tested them for their waterproof. And like a little kid, which I love doing with my younger children, you know, as you guys know, Cody and Baby Bear Sis, as we call her, my daughter, go and jump in mud puddles. Find the mud puddle, find the stream or whatever, and have some fun and jump in them and make sure that they are waterproof, along with all the gear. So I don't think I'm leaving anything out, guys. I know it's kind of been a little longer than I might have expected, and I've been rambling on. But yeah, so that kind of covers that. Like I say, in the next one, the next part of the series that I want to do is definitely doing a camp out. I know, like I said, Cole Craven and I went out the other night, but that was kind of a test that we had done for ourselves. We were pressed for time. It was starting to get dark, and it was supposed to rain, and that was one of the reasons why we went out. Is you know, as we all do, we do these skills to practice. You know, our flint and steel, our bow drill, or whatever the case may be. We don't do it all the time, but we do it, you know, as practice to keep ourselves up. And that's what we had done. We were testing ourselves and practice, you know, to practice that, you know, we could get there, we could get our shelter going. And that's the other thing, you know, I don't know, you might have seen in the comment about the fact of being that him and I got the fire going. Some of us, you know, say things differently about, you know, what's important and what's the first things to do, like shelter building or fire building or whatever. Him and I, we wanted to test ourselves. So in our camp out, we had all our gear on, but wanted to test ourselves. So what we did is we went out and we built our shelter first, got our shelter up, because we were confident enough, even though that everything was soaked, it was wet, in the area that we were in, we were confident enough that we could get a fire going. So we weren't worried about the fire first. We turned on and worried about the shelter, and that kind of gets into a whole nother discussion. that I actually want to do, on my personal opinion of, you know, once again, in a winter environment, what would be if I was teaching somebody or taking somebody out for the very first time on winter camp out, what I think is important, the first thing to turn on and do. So we'll get to that in the next area. So I guess, guys, I'm going to leave it at that. I got another video I'm going to do after this one. I had my first video request, so I'm kind of excited. But you'll see what that is. I don't want to get into another topic. But if anybody has any questions or anything like that about this part of what I done, or on the first part, by all means, you know, send me a PM, put it in the comment below, whatever, and I'll turn on and definitely get back to it and respond back to it. And just as closing, once again, to add to that, as I said before, this is not the training. It's all my theory, what I was taught, you know, from being in the military, my Arctic survival, and everything else. By any means, I don't want you guys all, or anybody, to turn around and think, oh, well, this guy knows what he's talking about. You know, he was in the military, he was in the Arctic, you know, he's been to the North Pole and everything else. Yes, that's true, absolutely, 100%. But I don't want somebody to turn around and think that, you know, just because they listen to me on a YouTube channel and, you know, they watch this video, that now they can go out and survive in the wilderness. Because, guys, I can honestly turn around and tell you, you know, I'm that guy, I've got the big heart, and if I ever found out about it, or if I ever heard about it, and somebody did that and they went out and, God forbid, worst case scenario, they got severe hypothermia and died, and it came back that, well, he thought he knew what he was doing because he watched, you know, FSBushcraft's video. You'd make me feel this big. I couldn't live with myself, I guess. It's just shared knowledge, and that's all I'm putting out there. As Jarhead 6, I'll turn on and bring him up, a prime example. He had a video he was doing the other day about, oh gosh, I've watched so many of his lately, but it was basically talking about firearms training and stuff like that. Of, you know, our, you know, brothers and sisters or whatever that have turned on and served, and, you know, because they were in the military, you know, figure they're, you know, the gun expert, and they're out there, you know, training people or whatever, and people are getting the wrong impression that, you know, they're getting the proper training, whatever the case may be, just because the person was supposedly in the military, is wrong. And that's something I believe in too. I know I have a lot of people and a lot of friends that do the same thing. Oh, well, Pete, you're ex-military. you know, you're gonna know it all. Well, no, I don't, and I'll tell you that now. Kind of something that I need to say it in the closing, but you know, it touches home. But yes, you know, I've been there, I've done it. You know, the combat and the whole thing, and it doesn't mean that I'm an expert by any means of the imagination, and I don't try to portray that I'm the expert. I'm just sharing what I've done and what I know. So once again, any questions, comments, feel free, put them at the bottom. Please like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. And once again, God bless. See you all soon.